Welcome back to the live morning show presented by Dunbrook Chevrolet. We are honored this morning to have Dr. Tracy Phillips with us. Dr. Phillips is a candidate for seat number 1 on the Edgecombe County Commission. Dr. Phillips, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's my privilege and pleasure.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Let's get started. Let me tell folks just a little bit about your background.
Okay.
You grew up coming to North Carolina, visiting your great-grandparents' farm in Whitakers.
Yes.
And you were just telling me off air that that farm is still in your family.
Yes. It is a century farm.
Century Farm.
It has been in my family since 1907.
Wow.
And my family has been, I am the 4th generation person to be there. And it is a Phillips family legacy.
It is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. It is lovely there.
You have your undergraduate degree from Bennett College, your master's from North Carolina A&T, and your doctorate from George Washington University.
Yes, sir.
Your doctorate is in
human resource development.
Yes. Okay. Let me ask you this. Why are you running? In today's environment, there is no easy campaign. There is no campaign that does not, unfortunately, that doesn't have a degree of mudslinging between candidates. And you're going into a position in government where half the people that you represent will not be happy with any decision that you make. So I ask all of the candidates, why are you running?
Since I retired here in Edgecombe County and came back to my grandfather's farm, I have been living my best life. I love this place. I have a heart for this place. I have deep roots in this place. And growing up as a little girl, I remember this almost as a beloved community. And I'm finding that today, even still, even though I left and I, intermittently come and go. But having come here and been here for the last few years, I feel that I have been richly blessed to be back in this place. I never saw myself in this place at this time in my life. I didn't plan. But in my daily fellowship, I realized that I had prayed my way back to this place.
Really?
That I have experienced a peace and a joy at this place that I haven't had anywhere else in my life. And I want to live here. And one of the things that has always been in my family is about community and looking out for your neighbors. I remember my grandfather always had, there were neighbors. Neighbors took care of neighbors. That's what I recall, going up and down the road to check on Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. And it seems to have gotten lost somewhere along the way here. My goal is to bring that back. And so, yes, it's contentious, but I can't stand by quietly and see what is going on with my neighbors and how they're suffering. And I think that this county has a rich history.
Yes, it does.
A very rich history with generations of families who have been here. And I've seen how it has come together, and I believe that that can happen again. We have to take care of one another. We're neighbors. It's a commandment.
It is. Oh, and let me just ask you, the sense of community that you feel today, is that at all reminiscent or the same sort of feeling that you had as a young child coming to visit your great-grandparents here?
Yes, it is. I have recently gone and knocked on doors and told people, introducing myself and telling them who I am. And they are the same kind of folk. Salt of the earth, just trying to make a living and survive. And I have not had a bad experience since I've been here. Everybody that I've had an encounter with has been the same people that I remember as a child. So it's just a different generation of the same kind of folk, it seems to me. Nevertheless, yes, the spirit of community is alive. When I attended some of those get off the list meetings, I was very pleasantly surprised to see the number of folks who came out of concern for the community.
Yes, ma'am.
They are still here and they want to make a change. I don't believe they're satisfied with the way things are as they exist today.
Let's get to that in just a moment. Should you be successful in your campaign and are elected to the Edgecombe County Commission, what will be your goal day one taking office?
Reduce taxes. We have the second highest property tax in the state.
Yes, ma'am.
And everybody knows that you must pay property taxes. But to what extent? It seems like when they made that decision to increase the property tax, the vase was already cracked. And it just, they seemed to split it open, the problems. It exacerbated what was already not a good situation. And so I want to see the taxes reduced. It hits people differently, disproportionately the poor. And that's not a good thing.
That's quite all right. Quite all right. Do you feel that there is likewise sentiment on the remainder of both the commission and those other people that are running for seats to look at taxes as a major issue?
I don't understand some of the actions the county management and the commissioners, the decisions that they're making. It appears as I'm not going to judge it, but indifference or not being very responsive to the constituency. These 33% of our children live in poverty.
Yes.
22% of our population are over the age of 65. And instead, we get an extra tax collector, a position for a Parks and Rec director when we only have 3 public parks, as I understand it, at a salary of $100,000, yet our social services department has 1 person to handle 600 people. So I'm questioning the allocation of resources and where we're putting our attention to. And that's why I'm running.
There's so many different directions that we could go right now. I want to say that, and I'll get to the article that you had in the Telegram in just a moment, but you've given some statistics that you had in that article. Another one that was there, which I think to me is the most telling statistic, is that the poverty rate in Edgecombe County is over almost 23%. That, when you look at those numbers, 23% poverty, 21% of the population over age 65, 33% of children living in poverty, you're number 99 out of 100 counties in health care concerns. With that as a base, that is the reality of Edgecombe County today. How would you use that base to begin to bring people back to Edgecombe County and also bring business to Edgecombe County? Because the two
prongs.
They should go together.
And that's the thing. And I have a real appreciation, and I don't know that our current commissioners do, of how systems work together. You take care of a property tax, that in turn could help. It has a ripple effect, is what I'm saying to you. You throw a stone in a pond, it makes circles, concentric circles that go out, and that's the impact of some of the decision making that has already occurred from a historical standpoint. So I'm looking to put a different kind of stone and have a ripple effect that brings folks together, and it's more of a growth process. Have been stagnant. This county has been going backwards for the last 10 years. It's a negative growth. I'm a person in human resource development. I believe in growing people.
Yes.
And learning. And so my energy is going to go towards engaging the community to the extent that I can, because one person can't have all the answers, but collectively, I believe that we can make some transformational change in Edgecombe County.
On your website, when looking at introducing you, it says meet Tracy. There is a statement that I'd like to give you and I'd like you to comment on.
Okay.
Because of the outcome of long-standing leadership in the county has fallen into decline. That's a very That's a very broad statement. That's also a very bold statement. Would you spend a little time and just give us a little background into exactly what you mean, especially with the part about long-standing leadership in the county has fallen into decline?
The current commissioners, many of them have been there over 16, 15, some will boldly tell you 22 years.
Okay.
They've been there a very long time. And instead of going forward, it seems that the trajectory has been backwards. And so I think it calls for a paradigmic shift. They've been there for a long time. 15, 20 years is a long time.
It is.
And so, and here we are. These are the outcomes that we have. It's not working. I'll simply, that's bottom line, it's not working. We have to have a different approach and a different way of thinking.
One of the things that I believe Edgecombe County has to deal with in the very short term is the demerger of the school system between Nash and Edgecombe. So now Edgecombe County is responsible for the school system itself. With that being a pressing issue going forward, what are your thoughts about how Edgecombe County can best deal with the situation going forward and provide education for its children and education for its adults as well?
As well, yes. With a doctorate in education, I have a very high value on education and what that means. I'm a living testimony of what an education can do for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever resource, whatever they needed to elevate our children, to get them the education they need, I am happy, more than happy, to support it. And I have had some experience in grant writing. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to bring our children up to where they deserve to be. There's a lot of talent in poverty. I believe that, and I'm willing to do the work to bring them up. I know what an education can do.
A lot of talent in poverty.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little more about that statement, what that means to you.
I think given the opportunity and the resources, children can rise to the level of their potential. They will match you if you help them and encourage them. They will meet you there. But if you always have low expectations, that's what you're going to get. So I have high expectations. I believe in children. I believe there's a lot of talent. I think if you cultivate that, it will grow, and you will see it will mushroom into some wonderful things.
Anything else that, should you be elected and take office, anything else that would be a focus of yours during your term on the commission?
I am interested very much in working. But I understand the importance of the different systems. We have our schools, we have the social services department dealing with the aged, we have all these different parts. And I would like to see our county government more responsive. And that means maybe creating a hub where all of these resources can be captured and all of these groups can work together. And it could be more helpful to the residents of Edgecombe County, where they can get the services they need. So I'm focus on education for sure, for the elderly, services for them, because they deserve it and they need it and they pay taxes like everyone else. And then, law enforcement, I appreciate what the sheriff is doing for our county, and bringing all that together in one place to provide those kind of services, I think would be a very beneficial thing for our residents.
Dr. Phillips, you speak of cooperation, so let me ask you this. How do you see the Edgecombe County's role with the city of Rocky Mount?
I am trying to gain a better understanding of that relationship. But I spent a lot of time in Greensboro, and I know that regional collaboration, like in Greensboro, there was Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem.
Yes, ma'am.
In the same vein, I think collaboration and cooperation amongst counties can only elevate all of us. A rising tide carries many ships. And so that hand in hand, if we can find a way to partner in so many areas, I think it would be beneficial on both sides of the fence.
That's an interesting analogy with the triad, with the three unique communities in Greensboro, High Point, and Winston-Salem, and three different counties. But yes, they have successfully come together to form a very strong regional force in that central part of North Carolina. Dr. Phillips, our time goes so fast on these interviews. It's a shame that we have to wrap it up so soon, but let me ask you a couple of questions. Is there a political figure, either current or in the past, that you admire or that you feel that you would model your political career after?
I can't help but think of the Vice President,
Our
current Vice President,
Harris.
and how she's been a maverick and a real pioneer, and how courageous she's been. She's also, I'm in the same sorority as her.
Okay, okay.
The oldest college Greek organization for college educated women, and so I admire her spirit and her tenacity and her perseverance. How she's broken some things down, and I'd like to do a similar thing.
If anything that you have said today resonates with our viewers and they would like to find out more about you or your campaign, or they would like to take an active part in the campaign, where can they find you?
I do have a website. It's Phillips for Commissioner, the number 4.
Number 4, yeah.
Phillips for Commissioner.org.
Yes, that's right. Yes, it is .org.
And you can learn a lot about me. I have a telephone number posted there. You can call me. I'd appreciate your donation. I work with people. And I enjoy doing so.
And I would say, when in preparing for this interview, one of the things I do is I will just enter a candidate's name into the search engine. Your campaign came up number 2 on the list. So yes,
that's a good news. That's good news.
Very easy to find.
Good news. Thank you.
If our viewers were to take away one thing from this interview today, and remember just one thing, what would you like for that to be?
I want them to know that I have a heart for this place. I am home. This is my family's home. I want it to be a place where everybody can thrive, and that we have to start looking out for one another. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I want to take care of my neighbors. I'm commanded to do so. It's in my heart to do so. I'm not a politician. I've never done this before in my life, but I have a heart for the county of Edgecombe County.
Dr. Tracy Phillips, candidate for Edgecombe County Commission, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I so appreciate it.
Our pleasure. We're going to step aside for these last commercials. When we come back, Fred will have our last look at the weather, and then Wayne and I will wrap things up. You're watching the live morning show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet, and we'll be right back.